Yeah, it's live. The broadcast is live.
Hi, everybody.
Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. Howdy, howdy, everyone, she says. Let me put that on here. We're just starting. Let me go in here and see what's cooking here. I don't know where to see the numbers, but I see. Oops. And guess what I got to do? I got to mute my thing. Yikes. Did you hear that? Echo? Okay. Are you still there, Trish?
Yep, I am.
Okay, I thought you froze up a second again. We were having some technical difficulties, you guys. Wendy, thank you for coming in. Let's see who's able to come in a little bit. Let me put my StreamYard or my thing in live chat. I have it from top. Sometimes when you do live, more people come in. Well, Wendy, you're our first guest here in the live. Thank you for coming in. I hope you're having a good day. So, Trish, today is what?
Sunday.
It is our third cast here.
Yes, third Sunday. We are doing this.
This is awesome. I'm excited. You know what we're going to talk about? Wendy, do you know what we're going to talk about today? It's obviously ephemera. We're going to go into preservation and some ideas behind that. So I'm noticing some stuff that's going on out here in the YouTube world. Everybody's getting busy. So this is a time of year that it's getting a little heavy here. So it's hard for us to be everywhere. So if you're able to watch us in a replay, we welcome you. Rewatch our first recording, which is just sort of an introduction, like ephemera. What's ephemera? And yes, Wendy knows it best. We're going to talk about ephemera, but we're going to talk about it from the perspective of you tell them, Trish.
I know. I'm saying
Reservation. Oh, look here. We got Dakota, Zane, Patricia.
How about that? That's actually my name too, Patricia, actually.
Yeah. It's Marrakesh 7, and he told me his name the other day, and I wrote it down, but it's in my other room. I have it on my little sticky notes. Let me see if it's somewhere around here, but I did write it down the other day. Let me see. No, it's not on this piece of paper. Well, wait, maybe it's here. I have my sticky notes all over the place. So today we're going to have a little fun here. We're going to just do this a little more relaxing and off the hip, or off the cuff, or whatever. What's the right term I'm trying to say? So today we're gonna review some of what we did last week, and that was pretty fun. We went into it at a different perspective, but what I think today, I think it's really important to talk about not just the collectability of it, but like why it's so important to preserve it. So Trish, give us some of your ideas as a collector, but also a seller. Why do you think it's so important for people to keep a conscious mind and awareness around the concept of ephemera, and why is it? I mean, we know that it's very fragile at times. It's very temperamental. But why is it important to save it, like preserve it?
Important information. Well, but there's different reasons, like we had talked about last week. One thing is it documents, and it's proof. It's proof that this actually this happened. This is what it was. Documentation. You need that.
I'm glad you're reminding us, because a lot of people forget, and there's times where I pick up something and I treat it with disrespect and I throw it around, and I went, that's been around for 100 years, like that's a piece of ephemera. I need to take care of it. Let me put it in this, well, we'll get into that, but put it in something that protects it. We'll talk about the type of materials. We'll talk about the do's and maybe the don'ts of what it is that we need to really be aware of as resellers. If you're a reseller in the chat, and by the way, welcome everybody. We're gonna say hi as we go along. By the way, Trish, and that's Nana Tink I'm talking to. Marrakesh 7, his name is Sadiq. He's been here before. He's a really nice gentleman. If you see some, what do you call it? With their blue wrench, let me know. Hey, we got somebody here. Is Never Too Old. It's like, hey, Nana Tink Treasure, do you know Never Too Old? Let's see here. And so thank you for coming. We appreciate you guys. Thank you all for being here. So on that note, let's go in a little deeper. So Nana just talked about, or Trish, my co-host here, I'm pointing my finger the right way. You're like, Frank. Oh, I noticed we swapped sides. Usually you're on this side, but that's okay. Or I don't remember.
I
think
never
it
did
is.
that right.
I don't either. I don't know where I'm at sometime today. And today I'm a little off kilter. I just got over being a few days ago. I was just under the weather. There's a lot of pressure going on this time of year.
Yeah, the pressure's high because I've had a headache today. Took some aspirin, but
Well, pressure
weather.
from the like you said, from all around and above the environment, but also the pressure of the energies that are flowing in fourth quarter. There's a lot of demand, for our energy, time, and space and stuff. So that kind of is parallel to what we're going to talk about. Like, we're not inanimate objects. We're life, human beings. So like we need to take care of ourselves. I'll call in, or every time I greet, Trish, I'll say, hey, how you doing? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting your sleep? And we kind of laugh it off. And
Yeah.
Well, stress factors tend to do something that we need to keep in mind, not just for ourselves and our mental health, or I call it well-being, our mental well-being, so we can be in a more of in a mental way that we can have better strategies. Mental strategies are important for us. One of the strategies I'd like to say is take care of what you buy as a reseller. If you're buying something for investment, let's take care of it. Yeah, we're talking about this is the third topic on ephemera. We talked about what ephemera is. Those are highly significant papers that are now becoming more valuable, more collectible, extremely historical, and unusually sellable. I mean, and we're going to give you some examples today. You guys pay attention in the chat. You are going to trip. By the way, hi, Jennifer. We got Jennifer Hayes.
Yeah, Jennifer. Never too old to watch some of the videos and gets to see it's live. Hi. What is your first name? I don't know your first name. Never too old. I don't know the first name. If you want me to call you by that.
Never too old. Just remind us this if you want to write it in the chat. We got Jennifer here. She's our one of our YouTube's most favorite moderators here. Oh, Kathy's Corner.
Kathy, hi.
How you doing, Kathy? She was up for over 12 hours and alive. And I think after this,
I was on her live a little bit last night with the group of them.
So they're doing another one, and I'm trying to remember her name. They're going to do like a Halloween special kind of auction hangout tonight. And Kathy's going to be there as one of the moderators. You guys, after this, check on Kathy's channel. She may have some information. If not, Kathy, you can drop that. Let me get you a moderator thing. Let me see here.
Yeah,
Kathy, the Blue Wrench. Go ahead and drop that link if you would. Everybody behave.
Carlene, is that how you say that? Carlene. Carlene, very nice.
Who's Carlene? Is that
that is the
Never Too Old?
Never Too Old, yeah.
Carlene, we're going to give you what they call a blue wrench. If you're not sure what that is, Jennifer Hayes in the chat, she'll tell you. And it's basically just gives you a chance. If you'd like to drop your link, if you have a YouTube channel or if you have an Instagram channel, everybody that has them, go ahead. Kathy and Carlene, I give you guys a blue wrench. Everybody else, feel free to drop your links in there. Back to what we were saying. So we're going to talk about why, the word I'm using is preservation. Another word is conserve. I worked in a museum for a little time, and my experience level went up. My appreciation for why they do it and how they do it is like blown. I was flabbergasted. I was like, you're putting it in this special box, and you're putting tape, and you're putting special papers in the box with the foam, and then inside that was acid-free paper. And it blew my mind. And even then, they had to have, sometimes if they would travel it, they put it in a metal crate or a box crate, so these things would not get damaged. So if they
there's certain types of paper.
A hurricane.
Some paper is so vulnerable. I mean, particularly vulnerable. Acidwood pulp paper. You just have to be very careful. It's unlike the earlier papers. Today's papers is different.
They're very much so. So like you said, they're vulnerable, but if you have it in a metal case that happens to be fireproof, like, those fireproof things you put your safe papers in the house, you can buy them at, Home Depot or something like that. And supposedly they protect them, at least from a basic fire. They keep things from burning. The same concept is that something sitting in, like we talked about last week, collectors are really, one of the big reasons why ephemera attention to it, the focus on it, and its pertinent value rises and raises every year. Let's talk about some subject matters of things that were like highly valuable, and it's maybe the ones we were going to show examples of. And when I say valuable, once you realize the value inherent in these things, like you're going to go, what? You're going to go,
say, what? And I probably threw something away.
Very good. So like Trish just said, maybe I threw it away. Maybe I'm not taking care of it. I'm just throwing it off to the side like the stack of magazines. Then you realize this is worth $2,000. Oh, how do I take care of it? You know, you start freaking out. What happens if you have something that's worth $10,000 or more? What happens if you have a collection? What happens if you have these wonderful memorabilias? And I say memorabilias because
I was going to say memorabilias of your family or what, something, relatives.
Yeah, it's not necessarily monetary value. It's something that's priceless, right?
That is so true.
You know, when you got something that's priceless, you can never get that back. You'd hate to see not just like documentation of photographs. You're going to find, you know, rare signed, you know, documents, you know, books that were written by, you know, some family member or something like that. You know, you want to, and they're one-off conditions, you know, depending on a celebrity of it or what have you. So talking about that, you know, Trish just brought up, we have things that are like important because of the historical value. I think I'm going to constantly beat this like into the, you know, into this conversation. And our dialogue is that I can't emphasize how important it is to really appreciate history. You don't have to, you know, have a, you know, and if you don't have to have a super high appreciation, but if you can have a respect, even as a reseller, I don't care about this subject matter. I don't like it, you know, but I can be a what's the word? Is it a conservator, a person that takes care of it, you know, and you're responsible, you know, to some extent. What becomes our rich histories. Hey, let's say hi to a couple people. I think I'm missing a lot of people. So Never Too Old is Carlene. We just said hi to her. I left that up. Kathy Corner. Oh, I'm pushing the wrong thing, so I got to go back to StreamYard, as I can tell. And then there's somebody I want Trish to talk about here in a minute. So we do have Never Too Old.
Dakota Zane, what'd she write? I watch a YouTuber who does trash picking, and she found a big box of old photos. She showed how she researched one of the photos and found out about the family in the picture. Wow.
Is this the one? Yeah, there it is.
That is very interesting.
Thank you, Dakota. And thank you for coming today. How did you find out about us? Feel free to write it in there. We got my co-host for tomorrow's show. If you guys don't know about it, check my channel. It'll be on my channel in the fall. No, excuse me. Next week, it's going to be on Kelly Reseller Louie.
I was just going to say that. I just figured that out today on his channel.
If you guys have not, please do me a favor. Go to Kelly Reseller Louie today and subscribe to him. He's a very nice gentleman. He's got, speaking of ephemera, he has auctions, and sometimes he collects those and he sells them and offers up lots. So those who like to collect it and sell ephemera, he offers that stuff up. He does great auctions. So auctioneers are sometimes a good source to find collectibles that are ephemera. And also in some ways they're responsible for why collectors are able to find and get what they want. Like one day it was either him or somebody that he's acquainted with had a stack of cookbooks, like really antique.
And how to store them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just go real quick. So we got, like I said, Carlene is Never Too Old here. We got, who is this nice lady? I love her. She's wonderful. Thank you for that question, Dakota Zane. And once again, Jennifer, we want to say something to this nice gentleman. Let me go back. Hold on one second, Trish. Tell us about him.
OBX Picker. Yes, I want to talk about OBX this morning because I try to go back and watch people's videos whenever I can, whoever I can. There's certain people I watch, and he is one of them. I've watched Eric actually probably since he started. He's one of the first ones I started watching. And this morning he dropped this video.
Real quick. Jennifer, drop OBX Pickers a link in there if you would be so kind. I appreciate you.
Yes, she did already.
Go ahead, Trish. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she dropped it. And he has on this video that he went to this house. And this house, the title of the video, this house has been empty for 30 years. And some of the things Well, everything he got is pretty awesome, but he got some ephemera, and actually
Well, here
got
real
two
quick, did
of
you see
those.
what he wrote? He
Yeah,
says,
from
I
that
comped the
1950s Montgomery Ward catalog today, 99. I was surprised. Yeah,
I'm
and that
assuming
other,
that's one that he found, right? Is that one
that's
he?
one of them he found, but he also found another one, Sears Roebuck. And being this is Christmas, like you said in your video, Eric, that's a good time to put that up because that's one of those wish catalogs back in, I don't know if that's from the 50s, maybe the Sears Roebuck catalog that you go through and you pick and you know, whatever. What an awesome. And he found some other ephemera too. It was great. So you definitely want to go check out that video. It is good. You'll see a lot of other things too. The stuff he found, and I don't know how he refrained other than it's probably a lot of money.
The
But
thing about ephemera, it takes so long. But can I tell you something, Trish? And I know you know this. To some, I mean, granted, let's say you have 15 boxes of it. 15 boxes is very easy to store, as opposed to big giant items like furniture or reselling. And even if they're in, you know what I mean? Like, and if you're a small time collector, or you get one, once you go through the boxes, you realize what you can shuffle, pass on to other resellers, pass on to other collectors, or and categorize it, because sometimes you can make out of 15 boxes, you can make one bundle box and sell that. Like it may only be worth $2 or $3, but to another person, they can lot those up and then they can sell 10 items and sell that for $20 to somebody, you know.
There was one thing he got which was really interesting. It was a shoebox full of buttons, old buttons, and all the buttons, most of them, what I seen anyways, were still on the original cards. When you buy buttons, they're on the cards. Yeah, that's nice. You could lot, I wouldn't take that whole box and lot it together, but you could take a dozen, half a dozen, lot them together like that. People buy buttons. Oh yeah, way, 57 Eric, fall and winter Sears. I thought it was in the 50s. Yeah, it looked like
Eric. Eric is his name, you guys. I just showed it. Jennifer posted, scroll up, but just go to OBX Picker. It'll show up on YouTube. You guys subscribe to him. He's a highly intelligent man, but he is one of the more proficient pickers, if you want to call it that. But he's a reseller and he works hard. And I love him because he has a high value for, like, doesn't matter what it is. It could be like old trucker caps. It could be this or that. But
yeah, he gets it. Yeah.
He's so valuable. And what he finds, he holds the history. He doesn't just toss it off, you know, and if not, he'll pass it on to somebody else, you know. You know, what he does is what Trish does. And I do it more in a cherry picking style, but I still, if I can go in and clean out a house, I'd love it, you know, because
I love it.
And when somebody passes away, they're leaving you a history, you know. And I was like looking around at my house today. I went, oh my gosh, my poor daughter, I better get more organized, you know. And
yeah, so everybody go subscribe, go sub to him. And Jennifer has a question.
Oh, okay, real quick, and then I want to go to what's Jennifer's question? Where was it, James?
Okay, so do old piano sheet music for movie songs sell?
Oh, there it is. Oh, yes. Can I answer this?
Mm-hmm. I already answered it for her. She already asked me. I already answered her.
Oh, good. So yes. So just, well, since it's up on the screen for those who missed it, there it is on the screen. Yes. It's ephemera because it's paper. Sometimes it's just collectible because people are musicians. People want it for the imagery on it, like it's from a movie. They want it to frame this and that. But I mean, there's so many. It just goes on and on and on. You know, sometimes it's a rare one-off, and it's like somebody can't find that. Yeah, I mean, of course, and be careful because sometimes there was a gentleman. I can't remember the details, but somebody found an original. I think it was Rachmaninoff, or I can't remember the composer's name, but it was like one of these major composers that are big names, you know, like you hear about Mozart and this is like much later, and they found this rare sheet of music. Don't ask me why it was it was one of those. It's a cliche. They found it in an attic, and it was scrolled up, and it was in a metal tube, so it wouldn't get burnt. It was preserved. And when they found it, all the musicians went nuts. All these historians were coming to them like, we need to see that piece. That is the lost piece we've been looking for. Turns out the person that had it was a niece of one of his like acquaintances or something. Somehow they got a hold of it, you know. So you never know. Sheet music.
You don't know. It depends on who it is, who wrote it. Just depends. A lot of
It could be printed, but it also cannot be, it could be handwritten printed, on paper or whatever.
right.
Real quick here, Trish. So we got that. There was another question I want to go to. Sadiq said something about, new subscriber OBX. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Sadiq. You guys,
Thank you.
real quick, I wanted to say hi because I didn't say hi to her. Is Farm Girl Scavenger.
Yeah.
Noelle, I wanted to bring up she is an avid, can I say this real quick, Trish? And then she's an avid ephemera collector. Her and I have these really intense conversations. She sold, if you can write it in there, Noelle, what was it? There was a catalog she sold from the 80s, and it was one of the modern day clothes companies. She sold it for big money. I mean, she says, who knew? It's like you picked it, Trish.
Yeah.
Finding all this junk in a box. She's like, listed. I think she sold for like $80-$90, and it was
no way.
One of these sporting good companies. She'll tell you. Remind us again, Noelle, and then you guys subscribe to her and subscribe to Jennifer. Hey, she needs some hours. She's wonderful. You guys help each other out. So we'll go back on track on our subject here, and we'll come back a little later and say hi to everybody. It's going to come through. That's Noelle I was talking about. So Trish,
Dakotas Corner made a comment too.
She did. What was it back?
The next hot item that will sell well is handwritten recipes and diaries.
They already do. They do.
Yeah,
they do. But it just depends on how it's packaged, how well it is. There's a lot of, so part of conservation is if you buy a stack of recipes and they're standing on top of each other and they're starting to yellow, they're starting to get flaky, they're falling apart, your value is just not going to be there. So you can't just say it's a hot item. You can sell it, but people are not going to buy it if it's brittle and it's breaking apart and this and that. And this is not about you, Kathy, or anybody.
No, this is just going on the subject of how we're preserving things.
How are we making sure we can, be the caretakers? We are responsible. And I want to say, first and foremost, I feel as a reseller, not a collector, I feel that I'm obligated to a certain extent. So like, just because you have something in the mail and somebody buys something from you, let's just say it's on the subject of ephemera, because they paid under $10. Do you find, Trish, that you ever package it less protective than if it was like a $200 item and you put it and pack it a little differently?
Well, yeah. And unless it's glassware, I do that special no matter what.
No, but let's just say on the subject of ephemera.
Yeah.
So,
like a book or calendar. Oh, it's only worth, $20. Yeah. I have to say, Kathy has a very nice, changed her little icon there, figure, put Chris Goose on there.
Yeah, I saw that. Here's the other thing that I was telling. Noelle sold a vintage 1983 Patagonia catalog for $80.
Yeah, Patagonia. Okay.
So on the subject of these things, Eric, Noelle, I have done it myself. I'm sure Trish has in one form or another. By the way, today I forgot in my car yesterday. I picked up a stack of magazines. The lady was like 4 for $1, and I'm like, how about 6 for $1? And then I grabbed more than like 12, and I said, would you just give me all these for $2? I said, and I knew that it was a special type of magazine. They were called The West or Cowboys and Indians or something. Those are really highly sought after. Old dudes that, sit at home and they love their cowboy movies or their Western guys or, actual cowboys. They liked it. In that was a Sears catalog for an item. And it, so immediately what we're talking about here with Eric and Noelle and everybody else, just be on the lookout. It doesn't have to be like a sales catalog, but it could be just catalogs. So, and those Sears
and
is
Eric, I like what Eric said, that he said, speaking of history, he got some Edison record wax cylinders yesterday, over 100 years old. That's awesome.
Hey, Jonathan's in the house. Thank you.
Hey, Jonathan.
Landshark Picker apparently showed up, but I don't see him. Somebody was mentioning Landshark Picker.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Hey, Craig. Hi.
There's Craig. Okay. And, she said, Noelle.
Cancel check to the banks. Ooh.
Did you see that? Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody found some from celebrities, old canceled checks. And from Hollywood, somebody did like a clearance on a Hollywood house. And they were some like very famous apparently the person was like a producer or one of those, I don't know, what do you call them? The people that publicists, and they had all these canceled checks from very famous, what do you call it? Celebrities.
Yeah.
Let's hold off on the live chat for a minute and keep focused, because I'm going to get distracted and time's going to get away from us a little bit. Yeah, I know, Noel. We'll get there in a minute. So we can get on this topic. I want to stay on track for a little bit. Where was I? So, the idea of like, you can have these items, but if you're not taking care of them, what are some of the moral responsibilities behind it? I love that we have in America, it's not just a society, but it's actually a museum that's open to the public. If you go to Washington D.C., you go there for free. It's a Smithsonian. The Smithsonian is responsible not just for ephemera, but the majority of their stuff is a lot of ephemera. They have so many documents, and if it's on any specific subject that's not really talked about or reviewed a lot, or if it's a new subject that comes up, or a topic or person, they want to be the first to have it in their collection. Now, how do you store that stuff? Now, if you're an institution, Trish, you have somewhat, not always, because they're always asking for funding. Government doesn't always fund and take care of their museums. They take funding away from the arts first and foremost from anybody else. And what that does is, which I wanted to bring up today, is when you take funding away from an institution that is there to preserve the historical, the conservation of its delicacy of how long it's going to be preserved, and then on top of that, the collectability of it, it's a remarkable insight, because I've seen pop trends in New York go into museums like in a heartbeat, and people are like, why are you doing a museum show on that? And it's like, people love music, so they're going to do a music poster history from the 1970s that was like during the hippie era, from San Francisco to Austin, Texas, to New York, memorabilia, these little mini posters, which are now worth thousands of dollars because they didn't print more than 500 at a time.
Right. That makes a big difference when there's less printed, boy.
And think about it. They're sitting out in weather, and somebody that comes like, oh, I love the picture, and they take it off to go hang it on their wall, because we won't go into why, but, for whatever collectability, that's a godsend gift, in the sense that, like Kathy is talking about, like, keeping these old cards, they have recipes, or Noelle's talking about, like, who wants this, this catalog, but yet she has a 1989 catalog, or 1981, and it sells for almost $100, So what do you do when you come across that stuff? Do you go through it quick? Do you cherry pick it? Or do you really try to take a little responsibility and say, okay, I don't deal with magazines, but I know a guy that does. Do you want to pass them on so that they're preserved? Do you burn them in the fireplace? Do you take your time? Like, you and I had this debate, like, can we cut up magazines? And it's funny, is I had something to say on that, and it's like funny because it is a difference in opinion, but I really don't believe that we should.
Well, like I did come to the conclusion though last week that I did say I would go with you if it's like maybe there's a page in a magazine that is art or a beautiful picture or an advertisement, Coke or something, then possibly, yeah, but I would still not cut up a magazine. I have a magazine. I gotta show you this.
I got Trish started on something. While you're doing that, I'm gonna say hi real quick. Yeah, never too old, and that is, brochures are definitely falling in that trap. But we're talking about, let's talk about, if we're not going to talk about preserving them, let's talk about the sensitivity that ephemera can fall apart in a heartbeat. If you got ephemera that's meant to be posters outside, it gets wet, it gets weathered, it's sun bleached. Those things are not going to last that long. So
now I want to show you. This is 1989.
Let me blow you up real quick. How am I making you? How come it's not doing? Oh, nope, that's not doing. Sorry.
And get that wording off of there. Take off never to, yeah, hit it again. There you go. This is old GQ magazine. This is 1989. And I would never cut anything out of here. And the reason why I kept this is because that's my nephew. And he did the commercial. That is my nephew. And he did a commercial for Lee Jeans. So I would never cut this magazine up because that's just too, the whole book, everything just means a lot to me. So that's why I wouldn't. Did I lose you there, Louie? Did you knock yourself out?
I guess I did.
There you are.
I could hear it the whole time.
You there?
I was trying to figure out.
What?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're jaggedy.
Let me back out of this 1 second.
Yourself out.
Okay, can we hear each other?
You're kind of like buffering.
Yeah, I noticed it's making an echo at one time, but I think it's cleared up. So yeah, I understand that there's reasons behind our psychology. Like I don't want to because of, and in this case, that's nostalgia or for memorabilia. But what about like the obligation of historically? Let's say you have Americana that is like documents that are going to represent a segment of, you know, of history.
Right.
Be like modern day politics, society stuff that's going on. Who's the keeper? And it usually ends up becoming an exhibition in a show, and it doesn't have to be an art show. It could be in a history, modern art, you know, or whatever you call it. You know, it's some type of museum that is, you know, focused on the intention of, you know, what that documentation will help to tell that story. So, like you were saying earlier, we need to preserve our history because it's a part of our, you know, who we are, and it tells a story.
It tells a story, yeah.
You don't have proof.
And it's proof.
It's what was the word? We got to have provenance.
Yeah, that's right. What is that word? Provenance.
Provenance.
That's it.
Thanks for coming. We appreciate that. And there's Sadiq again. You guys, if you don't know Sadiq, give him a subscription here. He's a good supporter of the YouTube community. And what I wanted to say, I guess, and we said hi to Jonathan and a couple others here. I guess where I'm going with this is let's talk about techniques and tools. What do you use? Let me just talk about it on a simple level. Like everybody in the chat, if you're resellers, put a 1 in the chat. Just put a 1. If you're not a reseller, put a 2. But you're a collector. So a 2 could be a collector. If you're a collector, write collector in the chat. So we're talking about, I think that it's very important, and I got in arguments with people about if you're a reseller, you don't want to go and buy a bunch of product. And let's say you're just a one-off person, you go to a garage sale and you buy something, if it's all damaged and crumpled up, like if it's the cardboard on an object you're trying to sell as new, it's going to be a lot, the value is going to decrease. So when you go buy product and you go, let's say you find somebody and they says, I will sell you 6 boxes of this, come to my storage shed, but the product's like water damaged and this and that, you know, you're less likely to want to invest in it because your investment's not really great. You know, you're a reseller. You're there to make money. But at the same time, then you start going, well, what's losing my value is not that the person didn't take care of it. It's that the person that's buying it really wants something good. I don't care if it's a one-off for them or if that person's collecting all these like magazines or Star Wars dolls with a cardboard casing or something like that, you know. And you know, I'm thinking, well, it goes both sides. It's kind of like the collector, but it's the reseller. It's a responsibility. You know, a collector is gonna, once they get it, they're gonna do their best to like keep it pristine. You know, I think a lot of
and you know, not only on that, but if you're a reseller and you find something and you want to keep it preserved, because even as far as if somebody is collecting it and they want to buy it from you, they won't even buy it if you've removed the sticker price off. So you've got to take care of it when you buy it. If you want to resell it for good money to somebody that's collecting.
So we have fundamentals of side hustling. He says one, he's a reseller. But I think he does collect certain things. So like I know, for example, Derek, he collects model kits. I guarantee you he probably is less likely to buy a model kit if it's just in a plastic bag and not knowing, because what's important about model kits is the box. I'm sure he can relate and he would have something to say in the live chat about it, is that the box has a picture. The box has the model numbers. The box has instructions on it. Sometimes the box is what's just the pretty of it. You know, it's like you look at the box, you want to build that model. The model's not painted. The model's not put together. That, you know, so there you go. You got ephemera right there that it's in value as a reseller is going to plummet if you don't have the box. You might be able to sell the parts to somebody who's really a serious collector of models. They're less likely going to give you any money for it because they're like, well, how do I know all the pieces are all there? I don't know because I don't have the instructions, or, you know, and then, but a high-end collector who, or just even a person that's not a collector, but a collector that wants to build the models, well, maybe give him something, but it makes it harder for the reseller because then as a reseller, like, what am I selling? How do I know that that's this model? How do I know it's this edition? How do I, you know, so.
Yeah, there's no information right on the piece itself.
It's always about the history. That's what I mean. When you said history, what history? The history gain knowledge to understand so you can resell it. The history that you gain to make its collectability, like, wow, that's the provenance that we're talking about. It's the rich lineage, and that lineage that you pull from it, the more information you have, the more you know, the more valuable it is.
The more you know, yeah.
One thing you've taught me, Trish, is do your homework, do your research before you list something, because all of a sudden, you know, I mean, it may be something as simple as Eric OBX going, oh, it's a catalog, you know, Walt, you know, oh my God.
There goes $100 right out the door.
Awards. Well, let me just type in 19, whatever it is, 51. What? You know, it's worth that much, you know, but you don't know because that information is stored somewhere and somebody's collecting it. But the more research you do, you may want to hold out. Wendy's a reseller. 1 and 2, never told. Oh, my thing's skipping here. We got Dakota is both a 1 and a collector. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jennifer. And what does this one say? Many boxes are worth large amounts of money because just themselves.
Just themselves. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Like if you're a sneakerhead, if you're a sneakerhead, you know, you have a box from the early 70s or 80s. Oh my gosh, the box for thousands of dollars. Jennifer, I don't have one. Oh, okay, that's okay, Sadiq. You don't have. I just thought I'd help promote you. And Derek,
he said you were correct that he is a collector too. Yeah,
or that the boxes are, you know, very pertinent. So let's go into some examples of, like, whether it's, you know, we're talking about all kinds, but I think it's like with the let me just give an example and then we'll move into our show and tell. Maybe is that museums will take boxes. They have to be acid free. I wonder, you know,
acid-free paper if they put paper between the items.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you got the Declaration of Independence. Go to Philadelphia. Just talk to a conservator, you know, a person that's preserving that stuff. They have special departments. It's not just the departments that are the curators. Inside that department, they have people that are restoration experts. And they have
that's their job. That's all they do.
I didn't know that. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know how. To me, can I tell you a quick story? I went to the Trinity University where I saw the Book of Kells that one time. And this guy goes, why are you staring at all those books? And I'm like, I am just fascinated, you know. And they had the little red tassels of velvet blocking you. You couldn't even go.
Couldn't go,
Every book. I mean, there literally were hundreds of thousands of books. Not thousands. Hundreds of thousands of books from the floor to the ceiling. And this was like probably like a 12 shelf bookshelf, and there was like rows and rows of these, and I was just like, I'm mind boggled. And the lady goes, come here. And she was just a security guard, if you will, a museum worker that watched it. She's like, come here. And then she found the guy that was monitoring the person that was vacuuming, and she's like, this young guy came from America and he's an artist and he really loves books. And then she said something to him in Gaelic, and I was like, what the hell she said? You know, she's speaking in a different language. She was speaking in Irish. And she told him, and he understood her. He's like, young man, come with me. And we walk back to the other end of the hall. He opens these doors with locks and codes. And we go down this staircase, this metal staircase, go down this row in this little hallway, come back up a staircase, unlock some more doors, pushes bumps, and there's like security cameras. And he takes me into this room. And it was the room where they're preserving stuff and restoring stuff. And they had
people in there working at that time.
It was amazing. I was like, one of the blessed experiences, and he showed me like stuff that was from the 1200s, stuff books that they were trying to glue. One girl was working on like making sure the spine was secured. One guy was just building boxes to put, like he built a box and he had to cut out the shape to put the books in the box.
And that's important. That's very important. I'm glad you said that, because the boxes, they should be tight and fitting on whatever it is you're preserving. That's
why.
Because you don't want it to get out of shape and you don't want it to tear or rip. I mean, it's got to stay at the size like you said.
Did you know I asked? And I said that he's like, I says, you don't want it to move around. He goes like, of course not, because the more you move around, but it keeps this structure of the integrity of the item, whether it's a book or whatever it is you're preserving. If you got paper, you want to keep it flat and you put it between two sheets of what I call onion skin, but it's acid free.
Acid free, yeah.
But he says, once you get it in those containers so it doesn't shift, when it's traveling, it shakes. So if you got it on a truck and it's bumping up and down, it's got the cushion. It's like when we pack something to ship to a seller. That's why
the box, yeah.
I've sent a baseball card that was $5, and I just shipped it in an envelope once, and I got yelled at because the guy said, you didn't take care of it. And I'm like, well, and I went, he's right. So from that point on, I started putting it in plastic sleeves, and maybe I'd put a piece of cardboard. Now, if I get something that's $25 on up to $100, you better believe I'll put it in between that, like a plastic. Let's say a baseball card. Pokemon cards are big right now, and you put it in that. I'll put it between two pieces of cardboard, then tape it, and then wrap it with bubble wrap.
The cardboard keeps it, sturdy, yeah. And let me just say that you're talking about cards and baseball cards, photographs, postcards, all of that. Don't ever, ever, ever laminate. If you laminate, it will ruin the adhesive, the heat on it, everything. Don't laminate anything.
I mean, if you're talking about like reselling it and stuff, like unless you're doing an art project, and even then, why do you want to laminate it? What are your intentions? Are you thinking about the people that may buy it from you? Do you want to, what is it I'm trying to say? It's like, do you want to?
But eventually, if you laminate something, it's going to destroy the print on there.
Well, you and I know that, but like some people, they think, and I did that once. Guess what happened? I did that to a piece of ephemera. You know what that piece of ephemera was? And I got in big trouble. It was my Social Security card. And on the back, it says, do not laminate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what they say. Well, that's why, because over time that laminate, it interacts with the printing in that and it makes it disappear. So yeah, don't ever laminate.
So Farm Girl Scavenger Noelle, we're going to have to do a program with her one day. She's really smart when it comes to ephemera. She's Mademoiselle Vogue magazines from the 80s and before that. I put the word before that are really important.
Right, 60s, 70s, yeah.
Yeah, don't laminate stuff. Be careful when we talk about acid free. Don't pack stuff between newspapers. Newspaper is one of the worst, because not only because the ink comes off of it, it's not made to last in a way that's really good preservation. Now, some people do laminate newspapers, and that's to keep the air from changing and yellowing the
paper. Yeah.
Now, in that case, you better be using museum quality materials. You better have a proper structure of tool that can do it without it getting crinkled, and because you can destroy a document in a heartbeat. But unless and newspapers are and I don't mean this to be like snobby about it, but like there are thousands of newspapers made, so you can risk laminating a newspaper. But like Trish said, a photograph or something,
a baseball card or a postcard or a photo, don't.
Well, anybody that's baseball or sports buffs know that there is an etiquette when it comes to sports cards.
Right.
That same etiquette is leaked into a lot of modern day contemporary stuff, Trish, as you and I were talking about. I'm going to only mention one, but there's other than sports cards, there are collectible cards, and sometimes there are kids stuff. And now it's gone into, it's not just kid stuff. I talked to a gentleman who bought a Pokemon card as an investment, but it was graded. So it's put inside those plastics, and then inside that it's locked and it's shut for good between two pieces of actually hardcore structured plastic. And
yeah.
But it's coated because it's been
graded. Yeah, but that's just like the comic books. If you see Buffalo Picker, he doesn't get no comic books. Yeah.
It's done so it doesn't bend. It doesn't mean so nobody doesn't touch it, because when you touch those things with your fingers, it's Did you know one of the grading systems on sports cards or Pokemon or whatever it is that the grading system companies is if they see a thumbprint on it, they grade it down.
They grade it down. That's why you're supposed to wear white gloves. That's why Dr. Lori has a fit every time she watches Antique Roadshow. And I agree.
Lori is awesome.
The documents they touch, they never wear gloves. They always, I mean, now you got to keep it out of the heat. They're light, moisture, air, fingerprints, oils. There's, all of that, and it affects it.
Here's something from Small Town Pickers. Thank you for coming, you guys. It says, hey, y'all, if a card would fit in a regular envelope, how do you figure the shipping? Well, that's a whole different story and ball game. Like if you're shipping them and like, here's an example. RevResell has 2 eBay accounts. One is to ship those cheap sports cards. He'll put them in a plastic protector, and sometimes he'll use a bubble envelope, but then he'll fold that bubble envelope so it's like double protected in between, but you're still risking it, like if it's cheap,
Gail, I'm not sure what you mean about how do you figure shipping on the card. It would still be first class shipping. I don't.
Well, but the more like, so I guess she's asking, like, do you even bother? This is just my take on it. This is just my take, not necessarily what she means, but like, I know the more cardboard you put in, the more ounces it goes up. So
the heavier, so like she's saying, it's like cardstock.
It's going to be a certain amount, 4 to 8 or 5 to 8 ounces. It's going to go. I'll pay the extra, up shipping of level just to make sure I'm protecting, and people are like, you only got $5 for a card. And I'm like, I don't care. That could be a repeated customer that wants to buy my ephemera. He's going to go, yeah, I bought crap this time, but that was a test run to see if I want to buy your $50 card.
But I don't think putting 2 pieces of cardboard is going to take it up over first class rate.
No, but you have it between your plastic protectors first, and then maybe like I said, then you have like a piece of bubble wrap, and then you put your cardboard. Or I put cardboard.
I mean, it's still only going to probably be 10 ounces, 12 ounces, maybe.
Well, that's a good question. So that'll be a different show, I think, because we can go on because we're getting close. We're at 4:20. If we want to show our stuff.
Oh yeah, you got to do some show and tell here. These pictures, guys. Go ahead.
Do this real quick, and we have Chuck. He's the 16-year-old guy. Hey guys, he's a teen reseller. You guys, he was on. You guys go subscribe to his channel real quick. He was on a TED Talk not too long ago. It was really wonderful. I haven't had a chance to respond on it. I'm sorry about that. It's not his real name, but this is his business account. So you guys subscribe to his business account. Watch if you want to watch a really unique young 16-year-old. He was interviewed by Daily Refinement and a lot of other big names out there.
I did see that, yeah.
And Emily Conway interviewed him once. So guys, give him some support. Give him, and share everything here. Small Picker.
Everybody got the.
It's okay. At least you're here. Wendy, what did you ask here? RevResell, 1 card, non-tracked, white envelope. More cards he uses, tracking a bubble envelope. So there's just, if that's what you were talking about, whoever asked the question earlier, we got a lot of stuff. You guys, we're going to come back. Well, if we have a little time, we'll come back in this. But Trish and I right now, we have some show and tell, and I'm going to go ahead and go on to that. Is that okay, Trish?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, go ahead. I was just reading the chat.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do share screen here real quick. And if I can, I'm going to do is I'm going to hopefully tell me if it's not covering her face or not. But here it goes. We're going to start with Trish had this. Is that better?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, if you can even make it bigger. I don't know if you can.
That's as much as it lets me on this particular scenario. But I think, let me see if I can. I think that's it.
Okay.
Google Documents. Let me see if that helps.
Go back.
No, is that any better? I think it's the same as what I had.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Okay, let me get out of this. We'll go back to. All right, here we go.
There you go. That's good enough. That's some of the items that I found on Etsy. That's for sale right now.
It's not the sold comps, right?
No, these are not sold. These are for sale.
Here's one that's a German vintage, $699. I'm going to tell me when to stop. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. And this is in light of the holidays, right? So
yeah, because Halloween's coming, I thought I'd pick some Halloween stuff.
Look at this one, 1920s Halloween German die cut. So some of these, tell them what die cut is. It's ephemera though.
Yeah, die cut. Well, that's just I don't know if that's just put on the specially cut by a machine, or
Yes, it
how
is.
that is that in it.
It's a die means like it has a special.
Like it's not scissors, but it just like comes down and cuts it.
My dad was a tool and die maker, and so to make a die, it's a special shape, and it's usually metallic punched out.
Like a big, huge staple, but it's a punch, and it goes boom. It makes it
a unique
one
one.
big
I'll show
piece.
you another example of this. This one, Trish found the antique Hansel and Gretel paper lantern.
Yeah, wait till you see the one that Louie found. That's going to be amazing. Then these are
Sold?
high price that I found sold on eBay. These were sold prices, obviously. Now, those die cuts are bigger. The color of them is amazing. They're probably rare, and who makes them? It's probably printed on them. Some of them have the makers on the bottoms of the decorations. Some don't.
And tell them about like Bristol as a company to look for.
Yeah, Bristol, the Bristol company. That's why they're more expensive, because of the Bristol vintage. And those colors just are just something else. And then you.
So here's the die cut. Like this is kind of this shape where like around here, the little stars, you can see where it's gonna, it's gonna. Let me see if I can get a little better. Yeah, like right there. I can't make it move, but right here you can see the little shape of it. But it's embossed too, so it's got some texture, right? And that's a nice
not
thing.
All of them do. No, they don't all have texture. No.
No, but just in those cases, yeah. But like
if they were more expensive, yeah, probably the more expensive ones would. Yeah.
This one
now here on this one, that, and if you go further down, even some of them, they're movable parts that, which I'm sure everybody has seen.
Like this one
the
here.
Arms and the legs, the feet, the hands, all of them. And the ones that I had sold, like the scarecrow down there, him too. And the one below that, they actually have tiny little, like,
beautiful.
They have like tiny little metal little rivets in them that you can actually move them. And now these ones are cheaper, and the reason why they're cheaper, again, I think it's because of the size. These are smaller in size compared to probably 12 to 18 inches are the top ones, where these are probably just maybe 8 inches.
So, you think sometimes also because of
6 inches? See, yeah, you can tell these are smaller, 6-inch states, so that makes a difference in price. But I mean, even the colors still are beautiful, and I don't know that these had the makers on them.
You see, this one says 55 inches. This is like a 55-inch right there, and that's 51 compared to something that's like
that's 6 inches.
Yeah.
Hey, size does matter in a lot of things.
These are beautiful. Like in the one you were talking about, the little hinges are right here, the pirate.
Yes. Now you can even see on his elbow, there's a little, like a tiny metal rivet thing. That's
That's awesome. And look at the detail, like his earrings, So, but like you said, it's 25 inches and a half, long. That's it hinges, and it's die cast, and the colors are.
The colors is what is the biggest thing, I think. Look at, I mean, you think how old this is. That's vintage. That's got to be at least 20 years old. Look at the colors. It looks brand new. Looks like new. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Jump on this one here real quick. Let me see if I can.
You got to pull up that one shape.
To here, and I'm going to see what we can find. Oops. Go forward. This is my special eBay account. What I did was, let me go ahead and pop this open. I just looking under the word, and tell me what they're saying in the chat. You guys, this is just under the word maps and sold. So I looked under maps and antique and sold. And when I go to here, so on the parameter, go up here and type in maps, antique, maps. And once you type maps, antique, go to sold. Where did it go? Sold. A little bit more. Okay, here we go. I think I'm getting there. There it is. When I go there, go to sold, go to the comps, go over here and put under there, list price is highest first. I want you to look at examples of, now there's going to be the first few examples. They're over about almost $5,000, and they're in green, so which means they sold. Obviously, these did not sell for $4,950. There's a line through it. So when that happens, the deal on eBay means what? somebody took an offer. So how much did they sell for? Who knows? Was it 4,000?
Yeah, you don't know.
3,000? But when I went down, I got a good guesstimate. There was some that sold for 3,000. I think it's like you said, Trish, it's highly dependent on many factors, right?
Right. That's right.
It could be what is the state of the condition? How well was it preserved? What is it that they're selling in subject matter? Like this is a world 1854 map. They had some in here that were rare ones from Italy that sold for probably a couple thousand. But if you go down here without the lines through it, we have antique ones. Kellogg's and Bonzel is a cloth map from Colorado in 1872. So that's Americana. From 1945, I've heard of Calliher and White set. It's a pictorial World War II route map. 79th Infantry in Europe. So those things are highly, people want that rich history depending on like what it is about wars, geography, historical happenings, and can really dictate the state of what things. But look at these. This is the most expensive. So anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 if you have a rare one of a kind map. So you guys find ephemera, don't mock it. Go in there. I'm going to show you another subject real quick. I forgot what it was. Okay, I looked into the word. Type in book antiques. I have so many other subjects we can look. When you type that in, watch what happens when I put this. Let me go back for a second. I'm curious to see if anybody say anything particular in the chat.
No. Hi, Brittany.
And we got Simply Dana. James Pruitt, by the way, hi James and Chris, Cajun resellers here. Swamp Picker, thank you again. Brittany, thank
you. James, yeah, hi.
You guys, real quick, I'm going to say hi. I want you guys in the chat here, real quick, pay attention to this. This is about, I know we're off to the side here. I'm about to go in and show you this. This is something that Trish was talking about. Like, if we're conserving this, if you're a reseller and you take care of your collection, and there's this guy, I don't know how long they were collecting, but check this out. $230,000 for his ephemera collection. There was a few things that were not ephemera. Here it is. Here is the example. Ready, guys? Oh, where did my eBay go? Did I just get rid of it? There we go. I'm going to bang this up here. Check this out.
There it is.
And the thing was, huge book collection and antique maps and paintings for sale. It did sell, and it sold
$230,000, guys. $230,000.
That's enough to buy a house. This guy was out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I bookmarked him, by the way. His name is Jabali and Paintings. Apparently,
I think that's my uncle.
You serious?
No. I wish.
I thought you were serious.
He'd be my favorite one.
Oh, let me get out of this setting. I like when it's bigger this way. But
there you go.
Look at this. He does have some like collectibles inside, but look at his background. Let me come out of this and look at this. Look at this whole setting. This is just the bookshelves. He's got some boxes here, but this is the acid-free box like I was telling you about. Look at this. All this sold for $200,000. Look at the boxes at the bottom. What does that tell you? He's organized.
He is organized, and he knows how to store and preserve his ephemera.
And storing and preserving it got him how much? Yeah. So what I was going to say is look at this one. A little bit disorganized down here, but he's got stuff categorized. At least he has, who knows how much of this he gave away or what. But look at this. Look at this. This is a storage shed because look at the side. You can see the metal, corrugated metal. So here he's got some stuff stored in here. But these boxes, we're going to look at this from another angle to the far left. Check this out. Getting closer, he's got paintings in here. Look at that.
Yeah, portfolios or folios contain. Yeah.
So we got that. This guy sold it for $200,000. This is back in August in Pennsylvania. So that's pretty much it. And there was one more. I'm going to try to look real quick. Do we have time real quick?
Yeah, I've got lots of time.
Pokemon. I'm going to look this up. Pokemon.
Noelle says it looks like her book area in her shop. Seriously. That's awesome, Noelle.
Let's see if I'm spelling this wrong. Apparently, I found it.
Yeah, Pokemon Charizard. I don't know how to say that.
Well, that is a specific one. Not all the Charizard cards are selling, but if I go to price, highest, look at this. This is modern day stuff. These are Pokemon. Chris Cajun would know a little bit about this. This one sold for almost $10,000. It was a 92 PSA grade, which means that's almost a 10. 9.
But that's not a sold. That's just listed.
This is just listed. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Go to sold and let's look at these. When you see the sold, you're going to throw up. Somebody I spoke to, I'm not going to say his name, was an Instagram. He bought something, a Charizard card. Remember, there's like different ones. There's
your sold. Yeah.
Mint $60,000. Let me click on this so you guys can see this. This one sold for a little less than $50,000. There's different versions. This one went to Australia. Is 83,000 Australian dollars, and it translated into American dollars is US 60,000. This was a PSA grade 10, meaning it was a perfect mint. Nothing wrong with it. Look in the side here. See that little thing? They're not shadows. They're just a regular frame, but it's a hollow. A hollow means like there's like a hologram in it. So there's different variations of these particular cards. But if you guys find any of these Pokemon cards that are Charizard.
Yeah. Pokemon's getting hot as the basketball or whatever they were cards.
It's right now at its peak. It's been at its peak for the last 3 months, and I heard it's going to get hot for the next half year. So here's an example. You know, get to know these things. This is Ephemera. The more you can find them, like so. Yesterday, Trish, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go ahead and remove this and put us back into.
There you go. Good.
And are we back up on?
Yep, we're good. No, that's too big. There you go.
You guys, hi. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys in the chats. Did I miss any questions? Look at this. Farm Girl Scout. What'd she say? It looks like my book area in the shop. Seriously.
Yeah.
NASCAR football, according to Chris. Yesterday, I was telling Trish I went to let me give you guys a tip. If you're ephemera collectors, especially take this tip. If you're resellers, take this tip. You wake up late, you're up late last night because you worked hard or whatever, you weren't going to bed like you should, and you wake up the next morning, whether you're late or not, get up and still go to those garage sales. Go to those estate sales.
I love estate sales.
My key is go to moving sales. Moving sales want that stuff out fast as they can get it. I went and told Trish between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. Nobody was at this garage sale. I went there, got 3 video game systems, brand new pair of Vans, toolbox of Craftsman tools, a booklet of basketball cards, and there was at least 2, maybe 3 or more. I haven't looked through them all, but of Michael Jordan from 89 and 90. So, and there was a lot of other basketball players. I mean, $70. I got my money back on these game systems alone, you know. So, and toys too, caboot. So you guys don't get up late. Get up. If they look bad, these things, remember, you can take them to a different level. Even those Charizard cards, I heard if they're bent, Trish.
Yeah, yes, I've heard that.
Some of those are still selling for a couple thousand.
Yeah, I know.
Don't throw them out. So when it comes to ephemera, whether it's books, whatever it is that you got, posters, things like that, it's going to be a long tail thing. It's like being a sports card collector. Ask Chris. If you're, whatever it is you're collecting, you know, you guys are collecting stuff, take your time. If you got the place to put the overhead, go through it. Don't.
Gary's in the house. Westside Gary. Hello.
Hey, Gary. And Iris came in too.
Iris, hi.
Hey, thanks for coming. First thing I did.
Got some magazines.
Yep.
There you go. There you go.
That's what we want to hear.
It's crazy the value
Noel?
of maps. Yeah. Noel. Yeah.
Personally, you don't have to, but they are technically. I've talked to many scholars.
Yeah, they are.
And even the doctor, what's his name? The professor I was watching the other day. It may not be considered, but if it's made out of paper and you put it in water and it doesn't last, that's ephemera. It doesn't, ephemera means it's not going to last. It's not necessarily meant to last. That's why they put them in PSA card holders. You don't want to damage your stuff. You got comic books, you put them in PSA plastic covers, if you get them graded, all of a sudden the value is going to be intrinsic. And it's not that, it's for the collectability. Let's go into the collectability of it.
Yeah, all paper will be destroyed if it's mistreated or stored improperly. I mean,
sun bleached, water damaged, mold damage. There's so many, just tearing it, rats will, chew it up, whatever, it just damages by bugs. Just people just not taking care of their stuff. There's just like kids. We don't think it's worth value. Like there was who was talking about magazines in here earlier, Trish, and there's a magazine. Do you guys remember this? One of the Kennedy's children made a magazine called George back in the early 90s. It was Kennedy Jr., the one that died in the plane crash.
Yeah.
And if you find any of his magazines,
I didn't even know he had magazines. I didn't know.
He was a producer, publisher, creator of this magazine called George.
George. Oh, was he the one that did? Oh, I didn't know that.
It had a picture of George Washington in the front, but it was like a model dressed up. It was like, I think it was like a girl or lady. I don't remember who it was, but he's had different celebrities on him. They all have to like dress up like Oprah. So yeah, this was George Washington. But long story short, because think about it, from a president, his dad was a president,
right?
And it stopped after he passed away. Like it somehow diminished, the company closed. But if you find any of those magazines, they're like in the hundreds.
I didn't even know that was him. I had no idea.
That was his. So taking this on a very just light off the, on the cuff, just kind of like, you guys take this stuff even more serious. I would take it to another level. If you're selling cheap baseball cards and you do it, however, and I'm not putting anybody on the spot, try to treat it with the highest respect you can. If you got a buyer from you, just because you're selling a cheap card doesn't mean they're going to come back and want to buy a nicer card from you.
That's right.
So, and I'm talking about from a reseller who is a collector, who likes to resell. I don't like to see anything mistreated. I think first and foremost, the preservation of the history of it is like, it's amazing when you can go back and look at something and it's in clean condition. It doesn't need to be restored. Restoration costs are expensive, It's amazing. Thank you for showing those examples. I love the Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Can I show my nephew again for those who weren't here?
Yeah, dude.
I'm just so proud of my nephew. This is
he a model or did he take the photos or what was it?
He was. He's not now. No.
How come I'm not popping you out?
I don't know. Just click on my picture.
No, it says
there you go.
There we go.
This is 1989.
Not Billy Crystal's not your nephew.
No, that is not my nephew, but this is.
Okay, lower it because I can't see because the word live stream. I can't see his head. Get close as you can. Like put him in the middle. Go down. Now go down. And go forward. Go down a little bit more. Keep going down. There you go, right there. That's your nephew?
Yep.
Go up a little bit slowly. Just go up slowly. Keep going up. Just keep going up. Oh, he's on a phone booth. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. No, he's on a phone, an old-time payphone.
In a car. Oh,
sitting on the hood of a car.
Like looking over Hollywood or something.
For Lee Jeans.
What's his name?
His name is Tim.
But you see, and people love magazines for the same reason. They buy them for their celebrity. They buy them for just information because they don't know about something, like they have a favorite singer or actor or celebrity or their nephew,
Nephew, yeah, that's my nephew.
That's wonderful. Well, you guys, thank you for being here. Next week.
Okay, get you back on here. You just have me up.
Oh, come on. It could be the two of us. Oh, we got J. Marie in here. What does J. Marie say? That's a good place to go. You guys, the nice thing about modern day magazines, I go into my, I don't know, whatever your bookstore is or thrift shop, go in there and dig through the magazines. Now, like the old ones, like I buy stuff from the 40s and 20s and 30s, and I sold magazines for up to 50 and on up. Those really like Art Nouveau, Art Deco ones really sell good. Especially the illustrations are great. And
Iris, you can post your eBay store if you want. That's fine.
Yeah. Which one is her, Jay? Is it Jay you're talking about?
No, Iris Collins.
Oh yeah, Iris. Did you have Let me see if maybe she doesn't have a blue wrench. Let me just check.
She does. Yep.
Okay, yeah, guys, go ahead. Hey, Kelly, thank you.
I don't even have a blue wrench. What is up with that?
You don't get one today.
Okay, that's fine.
You've been bad.
I don't want that responsibility.
Oh, Lord. Okay, and then buying spaces here. Hello.
Hey, Myra.
Is that Myra? Oh, that's Myra.
Yeah, buying space. Hey.
Myra, you get a blue wrench. Oh, I didn't even give one to Noelle. Sorry, Noelle. Post your thing here real quick. J. Marie, if I didn't do that earlier, I'm giving you a moderator.
They had no idea that Georgia magazines were worth anything. And also, what did Wendy say? Something.
Where
George was big famous magazine in New York. Yeah, I've heard of the magazine. I just didn't know Kennedy was like it was his. I didn't know.
Yeah, go look up on Wikipedia. It's all there. What does Farm Girl say? Something about all those things, the estate sales that yeah, they just yesterday I went to a moving sale. The lady, I said, do you really just want to get rid of these magazines? She's like, just take more. You know, so whatever. She was offering 4, and then she said 6 for. I ended up like going home with like 25 magazines, and I can sell a stack of like anything. I don't care what it is. If you guys can find a stack of a volume of magazines of all the same, pay the weight, because if you can just do your math and sell it, you may be making them pay a lot in weight, but it's a book media rate. It doesn't cost a lot. If you can figure out where, you know, it's worth that much to sell, you made $10 just to ship off something heavy, you know, big deal. Oh, look here, you guys, everybody subscribe to eBay Addicts. His name is Jeff. He does some interviews. He's got to get you, Trish. Didn't he have you on there yet? No.
Hey, Jeff.
Jeff, here's your next one. Trish, Nana Pink Treasures.
That sounds like it could be bad. It's like your next victim.
He's interviewed like some big names already. He's awesome. He did Buffalo Picker last week.
I know. I watched them. I know.
Yeah. So buying space. Thank you for being.
I got one before Trish. Got one what? You mean she got a blue wrench before me? That's okay.
Where are you, Trish? I didn't even see you on here.
Because I haven't been chatting. Here I am. There you go.
Oh, there we go. Make it easy here. Okay. I thought you were blue wrenched.
I am not blue wrenched.
I got to go to the thing. Mine is on delay. I keep looking at the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. And we moderated you. So thank you guys for coming in. If you guys have any questions right now, let's take a couple minutes real quick, because we're going to end this here in a little bit. We obviously went over our hour.
Noelle made a good comment. You cannot ship magazines media mail. They have advertisements in them.
If they don't have, now there's some from the 20s you can send. If they're those old crime novels, you can do it. You know, but yeah, you're not supposed to send them media. You're right. Yeah, my bad.
Because of the advertisements.
So, but you can send them priority, and that's cheap enough. It's actually in some ways cheaper to ship them to 7.
Depending on the weight, it could be even cheaper.
It could be a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you use those legal envelopes, send them off, you know.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, what you're selling is, you know, something that a collector wants. And if they go, oh, you have 20 of those? I don't have all those. Let's say they're a collector that wants to buy National Geographic or whatever. It may not be worth your value. Then you part them out. You sell them individually. And it's cheaper to ship that way.
To ship that way, yeah.
Yeah, you can do it that way. I would recommend, if you guys do collect magazines to sell, go online. It is about a little extra. It usually costs you anywhere from a nickel to a dime, at the most a quarter. It's worth it. If you're selling high-end media, that is magazines, music notes, whatever ephemera that is like, you know, magazine size, buy those plastic covers. And the bigger they are, the better, because you can always fold them over and use them for different shape stuff. I would say get into the practice of it. So part of talking about today about restoration, you know, you don't ever want to go down that route. Once you have to have something restored, you're going to lose value, and somebody's going to go, I don't want to pay that much for it. So the longer you can preserve something, and if you go, because we talked about this in the first and the second show, is being a reseller for ephemera is easy. If you want to start off small, get a shoebox and collect a small little things like postcards, stamps, small little labels of just, you know, going around as you go around. Save labels, save artwork, whatever it is, little things that you things that you wouldn't think that would, but if you can collect them in category, like a guy would just save an envelope this thick of Native American pictures, sold them, sold for $100, whatever. Topics, subjects, different ideas, different concepts, different, subject matters, really can just, to the right person, to the right interest, to the right artists like collecting stuff, because they need collage material all the time, and they need it cheap as you can be. So if you're also looking to get rid of stuff, you can ship it off, as cheap as you can get it. So do we have any more questions in here?
That's what I was just looking. I don't see questions, just comments.
I do see one. Buying Space made a good point, which I tried to say earlier was magazine without ads or with ads don't qualify. Okay, so but yeah,
same thing as what Noel said. Yeah,
if they don't have ads. Now here's a good example. Can I give an example? If you have comic books, technically they're not supposed to be, because they have ads in them. Now, if you have the form of comic called graphic novels, they generally don't have ads in it, because you're paying for 1 through 6 comic book put in there, and they take the ads out, because it's like a novel. Hence the novel. It means it's a graphic novel. You're reading it like a book. So books you can send media rate. So graphic novels that are comics, yes, you can. Comic books, singles, technically you're not supposed to ever send those media. I know people who do, and they risk it. I wouldn't condone. I mean, I don't condone you doing that. It just, it depends on your business model. I would not try to go against the United States Postal Service. They will find you. They have the right to open media. I've had them open my media, and then, I cussed them out because I'm like, it's a book. Are you satisfied?
Yeah.
What is this? You cannot ship magazine. Yeah, she was the one who said that. So here's another one. Was this?
This is the place he gets archive quality bags. He said he spent $20 for 1,000 of them. They fit the trading cards.
Is that the one oh, here's one. Yeah.
King Beat has value too. Yeah, that's an old magazine.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to go there, but Playboy collectability, stuff like that, weird magazines, of like truckers, car rebuilding magazines. They have advertisements most cases, but they're highly collectible, but look out for those catalogs like Eric did today, you guys. I would say, how do you preserve something that's like a catalog that's just dusty, bent on the corners, this and that? What is our like, if we feel obligated, or we say, I do want to take that initiative, I want to step up the game, I want to be, if I'm going to get in the ephemera game, like Dr. Lori says, what would you say the first steps? What would you do? Like,
if I bought a magazine,
or let's just say you're getting into the game, you're just starting an ephemera.
What's like you said earlier, just start small. Don't get anything that you're not familiar with. Get something you're familiar with.
I'm sorry, I meant in terms of preservation.
Oh, well, like Iris was saying, you make sure you get the acid-free protectors, and immediately, like he did, put it in there immediately. Yeah. Wear white gloves, which I never do.
Well, I would wear white gloves if you're like an avid poster collector and your art prints. I would say, invest a $5 or $10. They have them cheap. If you can just find some nice, clean, brand new cotton gloves, start with that. But if you can find them, they call them, they're acid-free gloves. They're very finely knit, so that way you don't snag the paper, you don't rip it, you don't tear it. But they're made. It's also made so that they're white, so that the more dirty they get, then you can just say, change them out. You're not supposed to necessarily wash them either, because sometimes, let me give you a tip. If you buy acid-free gloves, if you wash them, sometimes the detergents in there can actually have chemical reactions.
Yeah.
Your ephemera. So you got to really keep these things mindfully. It's hard, but reach out to museums. Ask them how they do procedures. Talk to other collectors. Not every collector is going to have the right answer, but get a second opinion. I found this map. You saw how much maps are going for, up to $5,000, but on average, about a real ornate antique map from the 1700s can sell for a couple $1,000s. I don't know how many of you have a couple $1,000s rolled up in your pocket at all times, but that's a nice chunk of change, right?
Yeah, definitely. You want to try to put them in a some protective bag or something. Yeah, acid
Not
free.
just- yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Iris Collins, like she said, and you're saying, Trish, acid.
Yeah, acid free.
Plastic.
As soon as you can. Yeah.
Yeah, there's this stuff called onion paper. You can buy it at craft stores. It's got to say acid free. It's in a roll. I would highly recommend this. So you don't have to, but you should put poster prints between two other pieces of paper. But both of those pieces of paper that you're putting, like this is the poster and you're putting them between that, you should have between that, those papers should be, not only should they be acid free, but they should be what they call archival quality. Because just because it says it's acid free doesn't mean it's archival quality, because like if the sun hits it, it deteriorates, it yellows, and then it becomes where it can flake off and it could leave stains on your actual prints and stuff. So you want to be very careful how you put this stuff. You can't necessarily put it right into a plastic bag. So what you do is you put it like a acid-free paper on the outside, and then you can slip it in sometimes if it's an old poster print, an art print, magazine pages, whatever you're collecting, postcards. Generally cardboard stuff you can just slip into like a little plastic. And they have online, we forgot to tell them, Trish, there are sizes for every type of a fabric.
Yeah, every size. Yeah.
So they have what sizes do you think they have?
They have what sizes do I think they have?
Yeah, like from everything, right?
Oh yeah, from little tiny postage stamp.
I've seen. Oh yeah.
I've seen that, and up to geez, I've seen them as big as like Life magazine and even bigger.
Wow, Life magazine's a big magazine, right?
I've had 2 of them actually.
So like what Iris said, we just showed this, but like if you're spending $20 for 1,000 of them, that's pennies on the dollar. That's sometimes I like to use plastic bags to put, like if I sell an expensive antique shirt that I know it's going to get stained or something, I know they have those ones that say do not suffocate. You can use stuff like that, but be careful about using that for archiving. Archiving is not necessarily acid free. Those cheap bags will get really nasty. So what you want to use those clear poly bags, I think it's called, correct?
Yeah, and I don't have acid-free ones, but I do have just the clear poly, and that's what I try to do is put them in there, clear bag.
Clear poly should be fine. I think those should. They're better than those the ones that crinkle up and they'll like the
right. Yeah.
Yellow. You don't want anything that's going to turn yellow. The clear ones like they make for comic books, those are good, just depending on the size. We got Sal.
Hey, Sal, thanks.
Thank you. You guys, if you're ever looking for a tape dispenser, Sal makes them. Check him on his Instagram. Give him a shout out. Subscribe to him. He's a really nice guy. He makes them. Speaking of Pokemon, he made this tape dispenser with a Pokemon on the side. And he hand artistically designs these things. So,
Yeah, drop your link, Sal, so that they can come check you out. I'm going to be getting the one because I want
I don't know if he has a blue wrench. Where's Sal at? Oh,
yeah, he's blue. He's got a wrench.
Okay, I can't see because I keep going back and forth. So
yeah, he does.
Let me just go back to this. So Iris Collins, stuff that I got. I'm getting so behind in the chat here. What did she say? Oh, because that's why I keep going back and forth. And
there's Lynn. Hi, Lynn. For Lynn, even though I'm not a reseller, this is great information to know. Yes, it is. You don't have to be a reseller. That's right, Lynn.
You can be a collector. Or just like good stuff and you want to know how to take care of it. Let's say you just have a couple things in your books. Sometimes I put books in plastic bags because I'm afraid of them getting destroyed. I'm afraid of them getting tape stuck on it when I package them, and stuff like that. It's hard. It's hard to really think about that. So next week is going to be our final one. It's going to be on Nana Tink Treasures channel. That's Trish right here. My pointing the wrong direction here. Here, ET phone home. And let me give you here I go again. I'm giving her a high five. High five. Go on her channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So next week, you guys are going to know. We are not sure. I've been kind of really busy and I got sick this week, but we're trying to get a special guest for our 4th talk on this. Thank you guys for who all came. Thank you for everybody who's listened and watched the old episodes. We know we're not trying to get super professional on this, but we do want to take this knowledge to a higher, sensibility for you as resellers, for you that collect, and for those just are just sheer interested in ephemera and learning something new, because the more you know, the more knowledge you have out there, that's going to get you, a little
maybe more money. It might make you more money.
That's what I was going to say. By being creative, you can make more money. Let me tell you. We're just thankful for everybody in this community. Thank you guys. Had some good questions today. You got you contributed more information than we could probably ask for, and we're just grateful for each and every one of you. So
thank you.
By the way, here's that link. It's in the live there from Sal. He's the guy. He can make you a really nice tape dispenser. He also has a nice eBay store, I believe, too. Check out his stuff. You guys go back and if you guys have questions about ephemera, talk to Noelle. She's really an expert on this stuff. She'll say she's not, but she's a very knowledgeable reseller. She'll have her take on it. It may just be her opinion. Reach out to Trish. Reach out to me. There's other guys, in the YouTube world. You can just type ephemera, reseller. Stuff will show up. Take everything with a grain of salt and ask twice, because you can never be too sure. When it comes to preserving, go ahead, Trish. No, you were going to say.
I just said that's right.
Yeah, just, you want to take care of these things. I think Trish said it best. The first thing she says, this is history. History is important. Once you lose that history, you don't have it anymore. Unfortunately, it is sometimes it's only in ephemera format. Ephemera doesn't last long. It's never meant to be preserved in essence. But we do, because I think humanity, us as, resellers that buy all this stuff all of a sudden find themselves collecting, because they go, wow, I didn't know there was that worth that much. I can collect marbles. I got jars. I'll just take a couple jars and whatever it is you're collecting. Paper doesn't take a lot of space. Let me see if I can put it this way. So back here is a flat file. It's a 5 or 6 tier flat file. Although that's pretty big, I got thousands and thousands of pieces in there, and are all of them worth anything? Who knows? Some of it's my art. Sometimes you'll find a nice art piece. I take it out of the frame, because sometimes the frame's broken. Sometimes the frame is what's causing the yellow acid.
The yellowing, yeah.
So that's another preservation, tip. You want to preserve it.
Take them out of the frames as soon as you get them home. Yeah.
Sometimes, not always. You can get tips,
right.
And if you think you got like a really valuable piece that's worth like more than a few $1,000s, sometimes museums will give you advice. If you take a photograph and just email it to them, and they'll say, that's not the original frame. Take it out. You're going to destroy it. But also, if it's already broken and it's just barely hanging in there. I do have an example, but maybe I'll show it next week. But I went to an antique mall and I found this print, and unfortunately, it does have a little damage on it. But when it was what they call an intaglio. Look up the word intaglio. It's a type of form of printmaking. It's on a metal plate, usually copper plates. It's a multicolor one. Turns out, if this thing was like not damaged or anything, it would have been probably worth about $5,000. But it's still good value, and I got it for like $5-10. And I looked up on some websites, and there are like usually art gallery websites that sell his stuff for high end. So with the right person that does restoration, you can fix paper really easy. You can fix it. You use acid-free tape in the back. There's ways they use acid-free glues. They can fix it. So this topic is really an endless one. This is just a topic I wanted to bring for the third part of our episode program with Trish, because I just want you guys to get it in your head. Preserving and taking care of your stuff shouldn't have.
It's important. It's very important.
Yeah, it's important.
Duncan.
Oh, Duncan made it. That's okay, Duncan. That's why we record these things. You can watch it later. But
He wants us to go back and start from the beginning.
Anybody who watches it later, comment below, hit the like button. Not just mine, but over here, this lady, subscribe to her. Everybody in there, we thank you for tonight. We're going to go ahead and end it here. I think, Trish, do you have anything else you want to add on the subject of just,
Not really. You covered it pretty darn good. I'm here to tell you.
Anything else? Would you just, as not just as a reseller, but let's say you're also a collector. What would you say, as just I'm talking. Think in the collector's mind. What would you say what is your number one reason, or just give some tips on like why you think it's important to preserve?
Well, like I always say, it's the history. It's proof that something actually happened or didn't happen. I mean, that's proof. It's
and you're passing it down to generations. You're
always
just for yourself. You're saving it for your children, your grandchildren.
Like my magazine.
Yeah. Or could be many other things, And remember that there is a provenance in this. That's the history that she's talking about. But to me, as a reseller, but also as a collector, I want to know my investment for collecting something that, so making sure I'm preserving it, meaning you're taking care of it, making sure it's not damaged and acid free or just sun damage or whatever. I want my investment to go up in value, because then if then all of a sudden I'm becoming a reseller, whether you send it to an auction house or not, an auction house is going to take their cut. Or if you can sell it on eBay, you can sell your collection for $200,000. Wonder if that guy really got that much in Philadelphia. It's interesting.
I'm thinking he probably did.
Yeah, that was a lot of stuff there.
$260,000, I think it was.
Imagine what eBay's cut was on that. That's crazy because you notice unless he had it under collectibles, and even then, I don't know. I know books take what, 10, 11%?
10%, I think, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It's crazy. All right, guys, you are resellers that are conscious-minded. You're going to be mindful. You're going to take these ideas, make them your own, learn from each other, always reach out and ask questions. And we ask you guys, please come next week. We're hoping, let's keep our fingers crossed, that we have a special guest. We may have mentioned that person in this talk. So if you go back and re-listen, let's hope we can get that person, because we highly value them in not just our community. They are part of the YouTube community, whether they know it or not. They may not be a reseller, but if you guys have any suggestions, and once this live goes down and is posted on YouTube, please come back, post some ideas of people you'd like us to see, interview, talk to, have on as a guest in terms of Ephemera. If you do that, that'll help form ideas and a different attitude and give Trish and I encouragement about whether we want to continue this discussion in the near, not so distant future. Probably not in November. And, we don't know. But maybe next year, maybe starting December, we don't know. We may do it once a month. Maybe we'll do it once in a blue moon, maybe once a quarter. We would like to see if this is something that's valuable in terms of content for you. We hope so. And we thank you.
So hope you get something out of it. If you're really interested, let us know.
All right. On that note, we're going to end it here. Thank you, guys. Take care. Hit the like button and subscribe to Nana, because next week it's on her channel. Bye.